Welcome to the 2024 season of Cloud Industry Forum Presents TWF show in our mixed reality newsroom, courtesy of our friends here at Disruptive Live. This is our new style video podcast where each week we interview a guest from one of our members or someone with something to say about cloud technology or transformation or what's coming next. I'm David Terrar. I'm CEO of the Cloud Industry Forum, which is a not-for-profit trade body that champions and helps accelerate the adoption of cloud technology and services. If you want to find more about us, we're at cloudindustryforum.org. I'm at DT on X, David_Terrar on Threads and Instagram, and easy to find on LinkedIn. Today, we're coming at the technology topic from a different angle, from the perspective of mathematics. My guest is Dr. Ems Lord, Research Fellow at Clare College, Cambridge, and Director of NRICH, the award-winning mathematics outreach programme, which we'll talk a little bit about. We'll be talking about the importance of number sense and problem solving and thinking skills and a bit of AI, of course. And very definitely we'll be talking about the current position of women in the tech sector and STEM subjects. Dr. Ems, welcome to the show, and please can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Thanks very much, David. So my name is Dr. Ems Lord. I'm a research fellow at Clare Hall at Cambridge, and I'm the incredibly lucky person who heads up the NRICH programme at the university.
Excellent stuff. Well, let's start by finding a bit more about your background and how you got to be the director of NRICH, and a bit more about what NRICH actually does.
Fantastic. So NRICH is a project that came about through a children's maths club, and it was about solving maths problems and responding to them faster than you could if it was a postal response. Because there was this new thing called the internet in about the year 2000, and this meant that children could respond faster to maths problems. So NRICH started as an online club for children. But if you want to reach a lot of children, especially those who may not have access to challenging problems, then you need another way of working. So NRICH pivoted, and it now focuses on teachers, because teachers are a great way to reach those students. Now, as a teacher, I worked using NRICH resources. I love them. And the reason I love them is my own background. I'm the daughter of an artist and an engineer. And so I love solving problems, but I also appreciate the beauty of those solutions. So I've always been fascinated by maths. And then when the opportunity came up to lead NRICH, I was so excited, and I was delighted to take the opportunity to lead the team, which I still do today.
Excellent stuff. Now, that's all fascinating. I've introduced you at a Disruptive Seasons event when you were talking about number sense. So can you explain what that is and why it's so important in our tech space and in general?
I'm so pleased you asked about number sense. It's absolutely key, whether we're teaching maths or we're using maths in our everyday life, but especially in the tech sector. So let me give you a couple of examples. There's a talk I do where we look at the use of tech and disasters, and it's actually called How to Lose $1 Billion. Now, in that talk, I look at errors, well-known errors, where it has cost a lot of money in tech and time. So examples are rounding errors, errors converting units, and errors with decimal points. And when you make these errors with tech projects, all of a sudden your new submarines won't fit in their docks, your new space explorer will burn up in the Martian atmosphere, your new trains won't fit their stations. So the maths and the tech are both very important when we're thinking about number sense.
Do you know, I wish that number sense had been applied to the Horizon and post office thing that's in the news at the moment, because I mean the idea of 700 people simultaneously deciding that they're going to defraud the post office in the same way kind of fits the number sense kind of thing you're talking about there. Fascinating. Now, in your programme, I know you talk about the importance of problem solving. So can you explain what you mean by that?
Oh, problem solving is absolutely key. We have in our maths curriculum 3 key aspects of maths. So schools look at fluency, reasoning, and problem solving. But although fluency is really well taught, knowing your time, knowing your numbers, and there's lots of resources, problem solving is not as well taught. And we know that from the inspection reports from Ofsted. So what Ofsted is looking for is great consistency, both within and between schools. And what we try and enrich is make sure teachers have access to fantastic resources to support problem solving and also the training to be able to use them. So that's using different strategies to solve problems, because if you get stuck with one strategy, you need another one. And you need to be able to check your answers, so it's good to have an alternative. But it's also about the behaviours of people who solve problems. And again, this is important in the world of tech, because if you're trying to innovate, you need a really good team. You need teamwork skills. You need to be able to overcome problems. So it's about dealing with resilience. And you also need problem solving skills. So at Enrich, that's what we look at, engaging resources which enthuse students so they want to solve problems.
Excellent. Now, this is all really interesting, but one of the other things that frustrates me about the education system in general is that I don't see enough time and emphasis on developing thinking skills and creativity. Do you agree with that? Is that something that comes into NRICH?
I think very much there's a challenge for schools. They have a curriculum they have to teach, and the assessment reflect that curriculum. So at the moment, the focus is on fluency, and I think we'd very much like to see more thinking skills, more creativity, and just find ways to do that. But if we want it to be valued, it needs to be in the assessment. So that means rethinking the curriculum, and that's a challenge for the government and future governments. How do we have a curriculum that reflects the needs of the students today so they can make effective contributions to tech and innovation going forward?
Excellent. Excellent. Well, the next thing I want to talk about is that 2023 was a year different from any other in the last decade or so, where suddenly generative AI and large language models jumped onto the scene at the start of the year and stayed there in the news feeds right the way through the year. It's fascinating. It's the year of Gen AI. How has that explosion of AI affected what you do? And how is it changing things? And what isn't that kind of Gen AI so good at?
Oh, where do I start? So, as you say, it exploded onto the screen this year, and we faced a challenge, especially at Enrich, because one of our USPs is we invite student solutions. So we set problems and we say to schools and students, share your ideas, and we publish a selection. So how do we know if they're generated or not? So there's a couple of challenges here. How do you work with AI? Do you embrace it and use it as a tool, or do you ban it and say you can't use it? This goes back to the approach we were using about saying it's looking at the answer, having a feel for numbers, but rather than maybe number sense, we need AI sense. So there are weaknesses. When we look at AI at the moment, we know using certain platforms, it struggles with complicated calculations. It tends to estimate when it's counting. And we also know visuals an issue. So maths, geometry questions. And that comes a lot into tech design. So there's those issues as well. So we're looking at ways to embrace it, just like you would when calculators came in, when photomath came in, teachers found their students were taking photos of problems and using that to find solutions. So it's a question of saying it's out there, encouraging students to say when they're using it, and teaching and modelling the skills of checking answers. Does that answer make sense? The sorts of things we would do in number sense when we don't just accept an answer, but we reflect on it. So maybe AI is doing us a favour here by encouraging the use of those skills more and encouraging schools to focus on them. So let's have a focus on AI sense.
Excellent stuff. Now, there's another reason why I wanted you on the show today, Ems. So I'm going to shift gear a little and talk about the fact that in our technology sector and in your own subject, we've got a problem. Not enough women involved and definitely not enough women in leadership positions. What do we do about it?
Ooh. This is a question that's been challenging a lot of people. One thing I was lucky enough to do was go into schools, talk to students who were studying maths, doing A-level maths, so obviously very capable mathematicians who were choosing not to study it at university and beyond. So what was going on there? Talking with these students about their options was really interesting, a fantastic opportunity to find out where they were coming from. And it was quite clear there was a gender difference. When I spoke with the girls, they were very focused on careers and subjects that would lead them to roles where they could help others. This was crucial, helping others. And I don't think we've got that right when we communicate maths careers. So one thing we've been doing with Rich is a project working with mathematicians and scientists and showing how the school maths can be used to help others. And I think adopting that approach, we may be able to help address some of these issues. It's not going to be the only solution, but I think it'd be a really good way forward. Focus on how the math can help others.
That sounds good. And of course, this problem highlights the importance of programs like NRICH. But I'm guessing that one of the key challenges that you kind of talked about a little bit there is actually changing the preconceptions for young girls as they go through the system to make them think differently. Is that right?
Yeah, very much so. And I think it's about having maths that allow them to do real life problem solving. So there are large data sets, but also examining case studies, whether it's huge mistakes we've made in tech and they can become detectives and figure out what's gone wrong, but also look at where maths has been so helpful. So with COVID, maths was used to model the spread of disease. So we can look at introducing more activities like that into our curriculum and into our assessment systems. There's a lot of opportunities out there. I mean, one fact to focus on is the number of professors in this country and the proportion that are female. At the moment, it's about 6%, but females make up 51% of our population. So there's a lot of work that we can do, and we need to curriculum, we need to look at the assessments and the messages that we're sending to all students, especially girls. It's not just about the schools, because those messages come from our media, they come from families, they come from society. So we need to do that messaging quite widely as well. And everyone involved in tech can be involved in that. How can girls and students in general use tech to help others? And I think once we have that underway and start increasing understanding about it, then applicants will follow. There'll be more diversity in the subjects.
Excellent. Well, this is going to be a topic that we come back to a lot this year at the Cloud Industry Forum. We've just joined the Tech Talent Charter. We've just signed the charter, and we're encouraging our members to join too. Some of our members, like Lenovo and some others, are already members, but we're trying to get all of our members to sign up to those ideas. What else should we be doing in our tech sector, do you think?
Well, I think that's a fantastic starting point, and the industry should be congratulated on that. So well done. I think the next step is when you're looking at that, encouraging members to reflect and say, well, what are we doing? And what else could we be doing? There's organisations like Maths for Girls, which I'm involved with, and that encourages industry to release its staff to go and work with schools and talk about how employees use mathematics in their roles, and that includes the tech roles. So I think it's about each organisation reflecting on what it is doing and what else it could be doing, because we all have responsibility, and the tech companies are in a great position to help address some of these challenges. So I think it's a great starting point, but then it's having that individual responsibility going forwards.
Excellent. Thanks very much for that. Do you know, that's been fantastic. Tell me, how do people find out how they can get in touch with you and find out more about the NRICH programme?
Oh, we'd love to hear feedback and comment and to engage with colleagues in the industry. So please visit our website. It's NRICH at the University of Cambridge.
If I can just jump into that, that's NRICH.
That's it, NRICH. Our acronym reflects the background, which was the Royal Institution and Cambridge Hamilton College. If people are really interested in this and maybe they have families, talk to the children's teachers, talk to the schools. Are they using enriched resources? That would be great. If they're governors of schools, talk to them as well. And parents, we set regular problems, which I was talking about earlier. We value student solutions. If you've got a young person at home, encourage them to have a look at Enrich and send in solutions. And we also have newsletters for parents. So again, that's another way to get involved. But if anyone from industry is interested in working with us and doing the project, please do get in touch. I think it'd be really exciting.
Excellent stuff. Well, it's been fantastic to have you on the show and really interesting to get a different slant on things like problem solving and number sense and that kind of thing. Really great. Thanks for coming on, Ems.
Thank you very much for having me today.
Well, I hope you enjoyed what Ems had to say about numbers and problem solving and creativity, and of course the Women in Technology Challenge that we've got comes from the STEMS topics that she's involved with. We'll be coming back regularly to this Women in Tech topic during this year, as you'll discover. But we'll be back next week live next Wednesday at 14:30, 2:30 UK time. We want your feedback, we want your suggestions, or maybe you want to actually be a guest on the show. So please put something in the comments here. We'll look forward if you can actually email us at info@cloudindustryforum.org, and it would be really great to get your thoughts. We look forward to hearing from you, and depending on how you're watching this show, we hope to see you next time or next week. Thanks very much.